Hey guys, Jenny McKenzie here, and today we are focusing on creating space in the body using a lot of basic movements. As always, we're going to start off with a few sun salutations because I think it's such a great tool to warm up the body. Go ahead and inhale. Stand up, sweep up, gaze up, take your arms all the way up. Go ahead and try to create that micro bend in the upper back. Exhale, fold in, hinging forward at the hips, knee to nose. Inhale. Flat back, lengthen through the crown of the head, maybe even come up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, ride the exhale all the way through chaturanga, or come to your belly for this first one. Go ahead and inhale, come up into that nice low cobra, try and expand at the shoulders, creating space for the front body. Exhale, roll over the toes, come into that first downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal the feet a little bit here, kind of wiggle some warmth and some life into the joints and limbs where it might not already be. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do some slow walks and bring the feet to the hands. So just start walking forward slowly. This is really great for body awareness, lengthening the hamstrings, strengthening the core, all those really great things. Then when your feet are at your hands, go ahead and take one final forward fold for inhale, kind of rolling up and trying to articulate the movement up the spine. Just envision yourself rolling up one vertebrae at a time. It kind of subtly creates space in between the vertebrae and it just feels really good. Go ahead and inhale. One more time, stand up, sweep up, gaze up, expand the front body, creating the bend in the upper back. Exhale, the micro bend. Exhale, fold in, hinge at the hips, knee to nose, chest to thighs. Inhale, lengthen, flat back, lengthen through the crown of the head. Go ahead and exhale, plant the palms, step all the way back through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, expanding at the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out a couple times here, not as many, kind of breathe life into those joints again, and this time just walk the feet to the hands, fold in, and again, gently roll up. Try to envision the movement kind of going up your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Articulating is what they call it, and it subtly and gently creates more space in your spine. Roll your shoulders back, shake it out one more time. Inhale. Stand up, sweep up, gaze up, expand at the chest, creating the micro bend in the upper back. Exhale, fold in, hinging forward at the hips, chest to thigh, knee to nose. Inhale. Lengthen, flat back, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, ride the exhale all the way through chaturanga. Inhale, roll over the toes. Bring the front body through the gateway of the chest, creating space in that front body and opening up the heart. Exhale, roll over the toes again. Come into a nice downward facing dog. All right, I'm going to talk for a little bit here, so feel free to come to your knees and roll out your wrists or stay in a down dog if you want. But I remember when I was first learning yoga, this idea of creating space in the body really confused me because I was like, I thought all the space was already there in your body. But as I practiced, it's just come to make a lot more sense. So this first movement we're going to play with is the plank and the high plank. And what I want you to think about here is creating space in the upper back between the shoulders, and I'm going to show you how. So go ahead, and if you're in downward facing dog, go ahead and roll into a high plank, or if you're on your knees, go ahead and come into your regular high plank. All right, a good one. Engage the core, tuck the tailbone. Now what I want you to do is I want you to push the mat away with your hands and really feel how much space that creates in your upper back, in between your shoulder blades, and how much more difficult it makes your high plank and how much more core engagement you need. Now what I want you to do is I want you to shift forward just a little bit till you feel the transfer of balance almost over. You're pressing into your fingertips now to keep you this way. Come back to the high plank, reset, and then make sure you're just pushing the mat away. We're going to do that 5 times. So inhale, come forward. Exhale, bring it back. Push away. Go ahead and find, we're going to push away every time. Create that space and find our good high plank. Inhale, come forward, press into the fingertips and the fingers. 3, 2, 1. Notice the transfer of weight from back here all the way forward till you're literally pressing into the mat with your fingertips. push the mat away, high plank. Inhale, come forward, 3, 2, 1. This should also really feel this in here. Biceps and triceps. I gotta go ahead and take a down dog really fast, shake it out. I've filmed this video so many times. Kids, you know. Okay, inhale, come forward, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the high plank. Push the mat away, create space between the shoulder blades in that upper back. Last one, inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, send it back. Downward facing dog. I'm gonna go ahead and come to my knees and we're gonna do that one more time. I just think it's so important to understand the mechanics of a good high plank and how you can really use it to create space in the upper back and more specifically between the shoulders. Whew, y'all, my shoulders and arms. All right. Go ahead and push up into a downward facing dog. This time I want you to roll into a high plank, kind of articulate that movement again. Just subtly create more space every time we can. Find that good high plank, engage the core, push the mat away. We're only gonna do it 3 times this time. Lean forward till you feel the transfer of balance over your fingers, pressing in, you're pressing into your fingertips. 3, 2, 1. Come back, push the mat away, round the upper back. Inhale, come forward. 3, 2, 1. Roll back, push the mat away, create space in the upper back. Lean forward, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, send it back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and come to your knees. I want you to take a couple, a little bit to roll out your wrists, because even though you're pressing into your fingertips and we're taking those measures to protect our wrists, it's still, there's a lot of strain. Until you've done this a lot and you really strengthen your wrists, you're gonna feel it. So, and there's nothing wrong with a little wrist roll. All right, so for this next movement, we are going to roll from a downward dog into an upward facing dog. What I want you to focus on here is bringing your chest through the gateway of the shoulders, expanding the front body and really opening up your heart center, your heart, and creating space in between the shoulders this way. A lot of times we kind of walk around hunched like this, so it should feel really good to open up the heart. And again, when we roll forward from down dog to that upward facing dog, I want you to think about a wave-like motion moving through your entire back body, articulating through the spine. You're gonna subtly and gently create space in the spine doing this. So go ahead and exhale, find a good downward facing dog. And think of a wave starting at your heels and moving up your body. You kind of press into the mat with the balls of your feet there. The movement rolls, raise through your bodies, and then it hits your tailbone. And just think about the movement coming forward through each vertebrae and then until it finally reaches your head. And again, your weight is shifted so far forward. You're pressing into your fingertips, and then you just kind of gently allow yourself to come into that upward facing dog, bringing the chest through the gateway of the shoulders, creating space, and just letting your lower back relax. You're creating a micro bend in the upper back here without putting strain, contracting the glutes or pinching in the low back, or contracting the glutes trying to push your hips forward. No, we're just gently bringing the chest through the gateway of the shoulders, creating a micro bend in the upper back, and creating space in our front body. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and shake it out a little bit and think about that wave-like motion. And on an inhale, go ahead and start to shift your body weight forward. Feel the wave move through your spine, up your back body till the weight is shifted so far forward. You're pressing into your fingertips. Gently with the toes still tucked, allow yourself to come into that upward facing dog, bringing your chest gently through the gateway of the shoulders, creating space in the upper body. Exhale, sending it back, downward facing dog. 3 more times. Go ahead, inhale, ripple forward, or at your own pace. Just make sure it's nice and slow and deliberate though. Ripple forward, articulate the movements up through the spine. Feel the transfer of weight, transfer the balance as you slowly let your hips sink and gently bring your chest. You can adjust yourself too, through the gateway of the shoulders. Should feel so good. Careful, I don't want you to be feeling pain in your low back here. If this is all, you don't need to be bringing your full chest through yet. Just think about it. Think about expanding at the shoulders. You're gonna get there. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. 2 more times. Make sure, again, good practice here. We're pressing into the fingertips so we alleviate some of that pressure on the wrist. Go ahead and inhale. Ripple forward, round the back, that wave-like motion as it travels up our spine. Our body weight, gravity shift forward. Our hips gently fall into an upward facing dog. Our chest comes through gently through the gateway of the shoulders. We expand the front body, open up the heart. Exhale. Downward facing dog. One more time, really press back into the heels. Get yourself ready. I really hope this feels good. It should be a little challenging, but it should also just feel so good. All right, go ahead and inhale. Ripple forward, really thinking about that movement, traveling up your spine, round that upper back. Bring the head forward, all your weight shifts forward, your hips gently lower, and your chest comes to the gateway of the shoulders. Keep your gaze somewhere in front of you, because if you lift up like this, you're going to contract the spine, and we're just all about creating space, not pinching or contracting anywhere. So your gaze is in front of you, not up. Up, it may look like you're getting more of a back bend, but you're compressing your upper back, and we just want to think about expanding the shoulders. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Great job. Gently come to your knees. Give yourselves a little break. Roll out your wrists. However you need to. I like to do this little number where I circle the wrist, pull it through almost out of its socket, and allow the fingertips to massage my wrist as I pull it through. Or you can also put your fingers back, stretch the wrists out this way with your palms up. Then put your palms down, your fingers still stay back. You lean back and forward, stretching out your wrists this way. We're gonna do that one more time, but this time in a sequence of 3 instead of 5. So get ready. This is one of my favorite movements. I just absolutely love it. And it's really great for creating all, like, you're articulating movement up the spine, creating space there. You're bringing your chest through the gateway of your shoulders, creating space there. And it just feels so good. All right, so exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Feel that movement wash through your body, round your upper back. Feel the shift of weight as you come forward, and gently let your hips lower, bringing your chest through the gateway of the shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward. Really just let your whole body kind of soak this in. Really think of waves washing up through your body. Gently let your hips lower. You can play with tucking or untucking the toes, or coming onto your thighs or not, but really just expand at the chest. Bring your front body to the gateway of the shoulders. Exhale, roll over the toes, send it back into a good downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward, round the back, head comes through the arms. Let your hips lower gently, expand at the shoulders, bring your chest through the gateway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and come to your knees, roll out your wrists a little bit. In this next sequence, or short flow, we are going to create space in the hips and the hamstrings, using some movements you should be familiar with: low lunges, lizard lunges, etc. So when you're ready, I want you to go ahead and find your good downward facing dog. Really press into the heels. Your body should be nice and warm right now. I want you to inhale those right toes up as high as you possibly can. Think lifting and lengthening. And then I want you to exhale, come forward, round the upper back, and place the right toes on the inside of the right hand, and then drop the back knee. Go ahead and bring your hands to rest on the top of that right knee, and kind of let your weight sink into your hips, but try to keep them square. So you're going to draw the left hip forward. So you're really going to feel a nice stretch down that left side hip flexor. Inhale, open up. Again, expand here at the front body. Exhale, don't close it off, but just think leaning forward. You're leaning forward and trying to bring your belly to rest on your thigh and getting a really good stretch in the hamstring. Inhale, come forward, expand in the chest, really get that good stretch in the hip flexor.
Exhale, don't close it off, but hinge forward at the hips so you feel a nice gentle stretch down the hamstring, and your belly is maybe coming into contact with your quad or your right thigh. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, hinge forward, half splits. Inhale, come forward, and play around with tucking and untucking the toes as you find it, the most comfortable in your body. I tend to tuck the toes when I come into the low lunge. Inhale, expanding, and then I like to untuck them when I come forward into the half splits. Requires a little bit more balance. I just like doing it that way. Inhale, hip flexor stretch, open, expand, open up the front body. Again, don't try to force your way through, just gently open up at the shoulders. Maybe clasp your hands behind your back, so you're thinking front body through the gateway of the shoulders. Exhale, come back into that half splits. Now what I want you to do is I want you to place your left hand on the inside of that right foot where it would go for like a plank. I want you to inhale, come forward and open your right knee out with your right foot. So you're coming kind of into a lizard lunge, or you're pushing your right knee away from you. And as you do that, I want your foot to come up too. Your big toe and your right knee are connected. If you don't, it's gonna cause it's bad, okay? So open up like this, and at the same time, I want you to lift that back left knee. Inhale, create the space in the upper body for the rotation. Exhale, sink into the hips and try to grab that back foot, all right? And just stay here for a little bit. I want you to inhale, come back through. Exhale, keep your hips as square as you can. Come into that half splits. Inhale, reach, create the space in the body with the rotation and the breath. Exhale, sink into the hips and grab onto that back foot. Inhale, come back through. Exhale, into that half splits. Inhale, create the space with the breath and the rotation. Exhale, sink into the hips, grab that back left toe, or top of the toe, all that stuff. Inhale, exhale, half splits. Inhale, wide sweeping motion. Exhale, really get into the hips and pull back on the left foot. You should feel a stretch in the left quad and also some space being created in that right hip. Exhale, half splits. Last time. Inhale, come around and grab it. Sometimes I'll do this 10 or 20 times in a row. I can get really carried away with this, but I know we've got things to do, so inhale, come up. I'll try to keep it short. Exhale. Now to reset, go ahead and inhale, bring clasp both hands kind of on top of that right quad and stretch forward. Open up the front body and really get a nice stretch in that left hip flexor. Go ahead and exhale, plant both hands, bring that left knee off the ground, and go ahead and send those right toes back into that three-legged dog. Replace the right toes. We're gonna do that all again on the left. Inhale the left toes up. Exhale, ripple forward, round the back, push away the mat, create space in the body for that leg and foot. Gently place it on the inside of the left hand. Go ahead and drop that right knee now. Bring both hands to rest on the top of your left quad and go ahead and lean in. Don't force it, just sort of gently let your body weight rest in the hips, expanding at the chest, and again, opening up at that heart center, also achieving a really great stretch in this right hip flexor now. Stay for a minute, and then exhale, come back into I'll keep my toes tucked this time, into the half splits, and don't close off, don't haunch back, rather hinge forward at the hips and try to bring your belly to your thigh, but thinking length this way. Create the space this way, gentle stretch in the hamstring. Inhale, come forward, really bringing, again, the chest through the gateway of the shoulders. Maybe clasp your head behind you to remind you to do that. Great stretch here down the hip flexor. Gently your weight kind of falls into your hips. Exhale, think lengthen down the hamstrings, lengthening this way, belly to thigh. Don't crumple down like this. Really think lift and lengthen until you feel an even greater stretch down the hamstring. Inhale, come forward into that low lunge, nice and juicy. Exhale, send the hips back and hinge forward the hips, creating length in the hamstring this way without closing off the body, still maintaining that space. Inhale, come forward, low lunge. Open up that front body. Exhale, fold in, hinge forward, the hips fold in, but still achieving length. Think this way. Inhale, come forward, last one. Exhale, come back, half splits. Go ahead and plant that right hand to the inside of the left foot, and go ahead and push the left knee away with your left hand, and you notice my whole left foot, I come onto that, I guess the left knife edge of my foot. My big toe is connected this time to my left knee. I push it away, creating a lot of space in that left, in the crease of the left hip. All right. So now what I want you to do is an inhale, create the space with the breath, create the space and rotation with the breath. Grab the top of that right foot now, and really let your weight kind of settle into your hips. Inhale, come back around. Exhale, half split, still maintaining the length and space. Inhale, come forward, create the space with the breath and the rotation. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the hips, grabbing the top of that right foot, maybe pulling out of it a little bit to get an even better stretch in that right quad. Inhale, rotate back through. Exhale, settle back into those hips for the half splits. Inhale, come forward, create the space with the breath and the rotation. Gently grab the back of the top of that right foot. Gently pull it, get a good quad stretch, and let your weight settle into the hips. Inhale, come back around. Exhale into the half splits. One last time. Inhale, come through, create the space with the breath and the rotation. Grab the top of the right foot. Really open up your heart to the sky. Let your weight sink into the hips. Gently pull on that back right foot to get a better stretch in the quad. Stay here for a sec. This is our last one before. Inhale, rotating back around. Exhale, getting back into that half splits. Oh, I'm shaking right now a little bit in a good way. Inhale, come forward into a lunge, lifting that back right knee. Go ahead and place your hands before sending those left toes back into the three-legged dog and replacing the left toes next to the right. Go ahead and pedal it out. Hopefully that felt really good in your body. Go ahead and come to your knees, and maybe you're a little bit more aware, or maybe you already were aware of creating this concept of creating space in the body with these very simple movements. These are great after a run, just waking up, after a walk, anytime really. And hopefully it will give you more to focus on as you move through some of these movements. More to follow, but thank you